is up, everybody? Mike here, bringing you a review today of a 2007 Subaru WRX. And obviously, without me saying a word, you can see that this car is pretty heavily modified. And just starting with the engine, it's got a built short block, a bigger turbo, and all the supporting mods that come along with that. Wheels and tires, he's running a 255 setup all around, so a very meaty setup. Looks really cool. Also, just the paint really quick. I absolutely love the blue color that you can get on these cars. Looks absolutely fantastic. And I will include a full build list in the description because obviously me trying to tell you everything with this car would take forever. This has been his daily driver and a running project for 3 years, and it looks absolutely fantastic. Of course, has gone through many changes over the years, but looks awesome. All right, so checking out the inside of the car, you got your stock seats and steering wheel, which I was expecting to be a little bit thinner just because, you know, this is an older car, but it actually has a really good feel to it, a good thickness as well. Gauge pods on the A-pillar there, some carbon fiber trim on the center console, a little access port, and this wild shifter here you got, which should be fun to drive. But other than that, you know, relatively stock, not a whole lot. It's not caged or anything like that. You know, we're dealing with a daily driver here, so it still does all that stuff well. And yeah, anyway, let's start her up and go for a drive. All right, so let's start her up and go for a drive. Just a standard key here. This is 2007, so clutch in. All right, so setting off in the WRX here, and it's got a built clutch, which took me a second to get used to with this gigantic shift knob. But it's tons of fun already. I'll tell you what I like right off the bat is the sound that these things make is incredible. Especially this one is nice and loud here in the cabin. Oh yes, the clutch has such a short travel, but it's really easy, even though this is a built clutch. You know, this is really easy to drive right off the bat. Just that sound. Cannot wait to get it out on the open road. All right, so here we go on the straight. Woo! Wow, okay. That was really, really fast. Not what I was expecting at all. It just hooks really well. That noise! Woo! All right, so I'm not gonna lie, that was absolutely intoxicating. This thing sounds amazing. And when that turn, oh, I love the blow-off valve. I feel like a 14-year-old kid again. Okay, so just to get some of the basic stuff out of the way here before we get onto the fun roads, there is some road noise, this being a 2007, but for being lowered and everything, it actually rides really good, which I'm impressed by. And also the fact that, you know, this thing is built really well. And it's really easy to drive. It's a ton of fun. And even though, yeah, there is some road noise, but the sound that this thing makes completely makes up for it. After throwing this thing through some corners is it's incredible, and you do get a little bit of understeer if you give it a lot of throttle mid-corner, but this is all-wheel drive, that's understandable. And I have to say, even starting in a higher gear, this thing does not feel slow whatsoever. Of course, it's louder in here, you're a little bit more connected to the road, so that adds to the experience, which is a very visceral one, by the way. But, you know, we're not talking about a lot of power here. This is his daily driver. Yeah, it's a built car, but we're only talking about 300 horsepower, which, you know, only 300 horsepower, or somewhere around there, but it still feels so quick. Oh my gosh, and I could do that. I mean, I don't know if he gets tired of it after driving it for 3 years, but I don't think I'd ever get tired of making that noise. Just an absolute joy to drive so far, and I can really see why people like these things. I mean, you got a great platform to start with. This thing just feels so solid and just fun. Like it feels like you can do anything in this car. It gives you a ton of confidence with all-wheel drive. You can put all the power down right away. You know, this isn't rear where, you know, you can barely put down the power when you have a lot of it. This thing just hooks up right away. Again, we're not talking about crazy horsepower numbers, but it just feels so solid. Alright, so just some other quick impressions here. The seats, which are all stock, by the way, are awesome. I mean, these are really aggressively bolstered, and they hold you in great. You know, I was taking some corners pretty fast back there, and I didn't feel the least bit unsecure in these. And the steering wheel, too, even though it's a stock wheel, feels really good. You know, I honestly don't even think if you get one of these, you have to modify those things at all. Another thing I want to mention really quick is that even though he's running a bigger turbo, there's really not a whole lot of lag. I mean, unless you have this thing really low in the RPMs, power pretty much comes on right away, and it's a ton of fun. It's really, really predictable. There's no lag, like I said, whatsoever. As long as you have this thing above 2,000, you're going to have boost and you're going to have power. All right, so we'll hit some last corners here in this thing. And car's still on because boost timer. All right, so just back in the park here after my drive, and I have to say, I was absolutely blown away. I don't think there was a single point in the video where I wasn't either laughing or I had a huge smile on my face just because this car was, what can you say, just a ton of fun. So anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. Always appreciate it. If you're stopping in for the first time, please subscribe. Take care. Have a great day. All right, so just to wrap up the video really quick, if you notice, this car has Boosted Beauty stickers all over it, and the person who owns this car actually owns that company. So they specialize in special order car parts, anything like that. So definitely check out the website if you need some cool stuff for your car. Obviously, this thing is a rolling advertisement, and anything you see on here, you can get on the website as well. And if you don't see something he said, just give him an email and he can definitely get it for you. So I just wanted to give a huge thanks to Chad, and that is his company, boostedbeauties.com.